Hey, I'm Mike, and this is my car shop. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be working on the 70 Challenger, and being with all the busyness and so forth around Christmas, I decided to just take a little break from fabricating, and I'm going to be getting back on that soon. But we're going to be digging into the dash today on this car and beginning the process of removal and getting it ready to recondition the dash.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Cars Shop.
So as I said, it is Christmas, and everybody's busy and doesn't have a lot of time, and so I don't either, but I do have some time today, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to pull the dash out of the 70 Challenger and evaluate what we have. I really haven't looked at it to see what's there. I know the dash pad is missing and the instrument cluster is missing, but I quite frankly don't know what all is there and what all I'm going to need. I've already priced out a dash pad, and I'll be getting that ordered soon. And I want to take that dash out of there, get it reconditioned, get it painted, get the dash pad on, and start looking for an instrument cluster for this car as well. So just for a moment, I want to talk about that. Obviously, I'm heavily into fabricating in the rear end here, making the frame rails and so forth, and there's a ton of work to do, but I like to do little side projects on a car as well. So the dash is a little project that I can complete as I feel like it, get it cleaned up, get it painted, get it assembled, find the instrument clusters, get the wiring done, so that when I'm ready next spring, hopefully, to put the dash in the car, it's all ready to go, and all I have to do is put it in. I like to get a little variety. I really focus on bite-sized pieces and breaking things down into systems and so forth, as you've heard me talk on the $75,000 Challenger restoration video, and I would highly recommend that. If you haven't seen it, it'll be somewhere up here. I'll put a link to it. But anyway, I also like to do little side projects of other things that can help me move forward on the project. So, when we're doing 8 or 10 cars that we're doing here, you've always got to be doing something to move forward. I've got a couple of things I'm doing on the 74 Dart. I've got some things I'm doing on the 47 Ford. Got some things I'm doing on the Oakland. Nothing that's been video worthy. But today I wanted to do this little project here, get that dashboard out in the Challenger. So rather than me standing here talking, let's get after it. Okay, so here we are looking at the dash in the 70 Challenger, and the bones are there. There was more of it here than I actually thought. This is the first I've actually looked at the car in this area, other than when I got it, the dash was hanging down, and I just took that screwdriver right up here and shoved it in the hole to hold the dash in place. But I am very pleased to see that most of the wiring is here, and it looks to be in decent shape. The ashtray is here, the glove box door is here, and the biggest thrill of all for me is that the underneath here you can see the heater box is there. I'm very happy with that. I didn't know what was there, and like I said, I didn't care. I had looked, but every piece that's here is obviously one less piece that I need to buy, and the less money you have to spend, the better. So the plan is to get this out of here today, and get it on the bench and evaluate it and start cleaning it up and maybe get it in primer. We'll see. Another note, I do not have a steering column for this car. That steering column there is, I believe, that one I think is out of a 70 Charger that we had. So it's not the right one for the car. All I did was take a big hose clamp, hold it in place. Well, I shoved it in the hole, put it in the steering box so I could move the car around and steer it, and put a big hose clamp around the dash to hold it in place. So I'm obviously not expecting that steering column to be the one, besides the fact that the ignition key is in the column, and that's not correct for this car if my memory serves me. And if my memory is wrong, obviously you guys will correct me. I do have a steering wheel and the steering wheel adapter. I've got an extra brake pedal, battery tray, all kinds of e-body stuff here, but I don't have a steering column. So two things that I will be looking for in the next little while would be the steering column and of course the instrument cluster. I look at the Dakota Digital replacement unit, and it's a little bit pricier than what I want to spend on this car, although it would be beautiful. I believe they were almost $1,000. I would like to have the RT instrument cluster, but they are quite pricey as well, although I did find one that was not totally complete for a reasonable price. It's missing a couple gauges. But I'll keep looking. I have plenty of time, and I'm certainly nowhere near ready to put that in the car yet. So there's going to be some cost involved here, but I'm probably going to go with, I can't remember the company that makes it, but I'm just going to go with the ABS dash. I don't care if it's original on this car. I'm concerned about the finished product and what it's going to look like, and quite frankly, the paint job I'm going to do on this car is going to have such a huge wow factor that I want it to look nice in here, but it doesn't have to be, absolutely original. I just want it to look great, and the overall presentation is what I'm concerned about on basically a non-valuable 70 charge Challenger. So that's what we're doing. We're going to get this dashboard out of here. Okay, so we have the dashboard out, and I'm very thrilled with what I'm seeing here. It's in good shape. There's no big dents in it. The glove box door still works. The latch works. The ashtray I haven't tried, but as is typical of old car ashtrays, it works, and it's full of little friends. So hopefully there's no living little friends in there. Hate those little buggers. So we'll make sure that we dispatch those very quickly. But the frame mechanism is in good shape. There's a few things here, like one of the heater controls is bad. But one of the things that I wanted to know about this was, for ordering the dash pad, whether or not it was an AC heater box. And it is. The car had AC, and I'll take you over there in a minute. So even though I don't have all the AC components, I'm probably going to go ahead and put the AC dash pad on it and get those vents to put in. So like I said, I'm really happy with this. It's in great shape. The wiring actually isn't too bad. It's not too butchered up, which I'm very thankful for. I've wired many of these things by hand, and I know you can buy the replacement harnesses, but that's not the way I do things. But most of it's there. There's very little things that are hacked up here, so that's good. There's a couple little wires. That's actually a speaker wire. I recognize that. So I will be able to reuse this dash harness, which I'm very thrilled for. So the next step then is going to be getting this sanded down and getting it in primer, but we're going to have to do some disassembling on it first. So let's go back to the primer. Okay, so we have it stripped as far as I'm going to take it. And the beautiful thing is, almost all of this is not visible. So I am not concerned about this having a good quality finish and all of that. Mainly I want to just clean it up, keep it from rusting, throw some paint on it, and call it good. So all I'm going to do is knock off the big rust and put some rust treatment on it, rust conditioner, Not sure which product I'll use, but I have a product here that I used on the back end I'll probably use, and that will be it. So the only things that are exposed really are this and the end here. I'm not even sure there's an end piece on the other side that's exposed. No, there's not. So that's all covered by the dash pad and the instrument cluster. There's nothing on the top of this dash that is exposed at all. So none of this is seen. So when I order that ABS cover, that'll all get covered up. So it's not going to take a lot to clean this thing up. Like I said, just knock the rust off with a wire brush, rust condition it, and shoot some primer on it, and then work on finishing the glove box door, the ashtray door, and these little bits here. And that's about it as far as I remember. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we got it all wire brushed down, DA'd down, all cleaned up, and I'm going to go ahead and just start running over it with that CRC rust conditioner, and we'll get that on there in a couple of coats, let that dry, and then hit the insides with probably just some good rusty metal Rust-Oleum just to seal it up good, because again, it's about keeping it from rusting. I don't really care what it looks like, that's not the point, but it's going to look nice. But understand, it's all hidden, so my job here is not to spend countless hours sanding every little bit of this thing and getting it all down to bare metal, and I don't care about all of that. I'm going to chemically convert the rust so it won't rust, seal it up with some good Rust-Oleum paint, and call it good, because this car's never going to be outside again. It's it'll get driven a few hundred miles to a few thousand miles a year. It'll always be stored inside, so it's not going to rust anymore. So it's fine to do it this way. It saves a ton of time. That's how you take these huge projects. You find ways to expedite the process. I'm not going to say cutting corners, because there is nothing wrong with the way I'm doing this. If you don't want it done that way, then don't do it. That's fine. It's not a judgment on anybody else. This is the way I do it, because there's so much to do in these huge projects. This is another way that I just save time. Knock off the rust convert it, paint the underside with some Rust-Oleum paint, and we're done. I got the other side already DA'd down to bare metal in a few spots. I still need to do the glove box door and the ashtray. I'll get those done. Okay, now there are obviously two surfaces right here. This one is covered, but right here and right here that I do care about. So I've got my Nason self-etching primer that I'm going to use. I stripped that down to bare metal there already, and I'm just going to dust this with that self-etching primer to give me something to adhere to. I did not spray the other material on there. Again, this is also visible in here, so I'm going to go over that a little bit. Oops, this can is not working right, but that's all right. It's just primer, no big deal. So while that other is drying, this pert surface here is also exposed. I'm going to have to do a little bit of sanding there. I didn't strip that all the way down, but that's fine. I'm just covering that with this really crappy self-etching primer. I don't know what's wrong with it. So good enough. We'll go over that with a fill prime probably. Something like a 2K or something that will fill that a little better. But the point of this was just to etch it. I'm not going to be painting it today. I don't have the paint that I want. Guess I should have wore a mask. So this has got to dry, so I'm going to set it down there in front of the furnace and let it dry, and then we'll come back to this in a bit. Okay, so this might be a good little tech tip. I just took the screws out of the back of this, and this knob needs to come off of there. And there's a release right up in here. Way up in here, you have to kind of take your pick tool. Let's see if I can get that where you can see it. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see there's a little hole right up in here. And so you take your pick tool and you push it up in there and you kind of push down, and then that releases this, hopefully, and that'll come out of there. It's been on there a long time, so we may need to persuade it a little bit. That's it, and it comes right off. So it's this little button right here that you need to push down in order to get that out of there. So that's a good little tip for you guys. And then when you go to put it back together again, there's a little teeny hole. Some guys say that this is a 71 glove box door, but it's not. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. But in this car, that's what was there. So if this, they say the 70s have a key. I don't know whether that's true or not. In the way they built cars back in the day, who knows? And plus the car is how many years old? Somebody may have swapped out the glove box door or the dash or the latch or whatever. But regardless, this little pinhole here, you just push this piece down right there, hold it down, and put that wire in there, in that little hole, and that holds that little thing down. So you can see now that that little dimple is held down, and so once you put it in place, you can pop that wire out of there, and that will be able to put it back together again in 6 months or a year or 2 months or 9 months or 2 weeks or whatever it is. But you can see that little wire goes right through and holds that little thing down, and that when you pull it out, it pops up. And that's how you release the glove box door latch from the knob. So for those of you that want to put this back together again, I will show you once again how it goes. Looks like it's stuck on me. There we go. So you put the wire in there, hold that little dimple down. And there's one more trick to it, and I forgot to say this. The latch itself has to be up. Now without the knob in there, the latch won't stay up. So what I do is I just hold it up so that it's like it's latched, and then I will push this in there. You just kind of wiggle it around until it finds its spot. There you go, it's in spot. Release it, and voila. So now the glove box works. Hopefully you could see all of that. But it's all back together again. I'm going to leave it like that, because I don't want to lose this and that, and so it goes together. But it's all that little dimple and reaching in here and pushing that down. I'm using a snap-on pick tool, but just that it has to be latched. I forgot to mention that earlier. So when it's in the glove box, make sure this is latched. That brings it around to where you can reach that release, reach in there, push that down, and you can take it apart. Put it back together again. You've got to hold the latch in the latch position, up like this. So I'm holding the latch up in that position. This little, this one's stuck right now. This is because it needs to be lubricated. This little piece that sticks down here has to be pushed up. We'll stick a piece of wire in to hold it in place. You can use a safety pin, whatever will fit in there, doesn't matter. But get something in there that will hold that. Nope, there we go. Nope. What the heck? Must be using the wrong. Nope. Now it's going to give me fits now that I'm trying to show off here. So yeah, it can be a little finicky sometimes. There we go. Well, you little bugger. There we go. I just didn't push it down far enough. So that wire comes through, like I said before. Hold that latch closed like it's latched. Put this in, wiggle it around. Okay, you can feel it kind of in place. Let the latch go, pull the wire out, and the latch now works. and it's all held together. So hopefully you gathered that from my shaky hands all over here, but you get the principles at least, and you can see that that little hole right there and that little dimple thing is the main thing, and locking the latch. Okay, so the dash is now dried. It's been laying in front of the furnace for about an hour, give or take, and the rusty metal treatment is nice and dry. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that with some Rust-Oleum Satin Black. That'll just seal it up and help protect it for the future. I am not doing any of the visible parts. I'm just spraying everything that's the hidden stuff. Again, it's just to keep it from rusting, make it look a little better, so you don't have this rusty piece of crap dash in a very beautiful car, and mainly to keep it from rusting further. So we'll go ahead and get this sprayed with black, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to mention is I always keep an old respirator around from when I'm done painting for stuff like this. You know, when you're painting base coat, clear coats, and real high toxic paints, I always buy a brand new respirator. But I keep the old one around for doing rattle can stuff because it does a decent job of filtering out that crap. And I try not to breathe that stuff. I've been doing this for 40 years, and my lungs are really suffering from it. So you younger guys, pay attention to that. Protect yourselves. You don't want to end up with lung problems. Second thing is always keep your respirator in a plastic bag. These are carbon activated filters, and if they're in the air, they're constantly working, and then they will basically wear out. So keep them sealed in a plastic bag when you're not using them. All right, let's get some spraying done here. So we've got the dash all sprayed up with the rust conditioner, converter type stuff. It dried real well because I baked it right in front of the furnace outlet. I've got it sprayed now with the Rust-Oleum 7777 Satin Black, which is a nice rust protectant satin finish paint that's going to look really good there. I don't have the exact paint that I want for the glove box door and the pieces of the dash that are exposed, so I'm going to need to order that. I know, I can't remember what it is, but I know that there's a paint that guys use. If you know what that is, drop it down there in the comments for me. I would appreciate that. But I'm going to go ahead and get that ordered as soon as I find out what that paint is that I'm just blanking on. It's not a flat finish, it's not a semi-gloss or a satin finish. It's a little bit different, somewhere a little bit between a flat and a satin, so it's got just a slight sheen to it. It's not the exact paint, but it's a little bit more durable than the Rust-Oleum Satin Black. Otherwise I would just use that on it. But everything that's hidden is all covered with that now, and once I get that dry and get it up where you can see it, maybe we'll try to do a comparison. I'll do a screenshot from the video early on, and then you know, do a comparison to what it looks like now to see the differences. So let's let that dry and we'll come back soon. Okay, so here we go. It's been force dried. It's still very sticky, but I wanted to get it up here so you could see it. It looks 10,000% better. All the rust is sealed, converted, signed, sealed, delivered. If there are spots that I missed, it's no big deal in those hidden spots, especially with this Rust-Oleum, to just go back and just rattle over it again and it'll blend right in just fine, but who cares because it's all hidden. You can see down on the inside there how rusty that was before and how good that looks now. Very pleased with it. So I am very close to being able to start reassembly. Once I get the right paint to be able to do that spot, the glove box and the ashtray, I will get those masked up. I'm also going to go ahead and get the dash pad ordered so I make sure that I have everything painted correctly that needs to be. I'm in no hurry to get the instrument cluster, but if one of you guys watching this has one, I would prefer the RT cluster, but I'd be willing to look at one of the other ones if the price is right. Just looking for something that doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be there, something I can take apart, recondition, paint up, clean up, make it look nice. So that's what we're looking for this. And that's the stuff that fills, for those that don't know, all the gauges, the speedometer, and everything that fills those holes. There's also a radio that goes in there, which I'm not worried about that. But that's what we're looking for. So I guess, we've done this dash now and it looks really good. There's a little bit more to do, and we'll probably do another quick episode on getting it finished up, installing the dash pad and so forth, and then we'll find some place to squirrel it away where it won't get damaged, like in one of the other cars is where I often like to keep things. I was looking over the heater box, and all the air conditioning stuff is definitely there. Found some interesting things laying on top of the heater box, like a broken wiper mechanism and a piece of transmission shift linkage. No clue. Must have got thrown in the glove box and fell over the back or something. It's always fun to see what treasures you find in these cars. So this is kind of what we do here. Again, for those that are new, we've had a lot of new subscribers in the last 2 weeks, and man, it's great to see the channel growing finally. It's had a slow start, but it's exciting to see the comments that are coming in, the people who are appreciating what we do here and how we do it. Again, the point of this channel is not to show you how to do these big dollar parts replacement restorations, but what you can do in your home with a few simple tools and just being too stupid to know any better and just go after it and do it. You can turn out some beautiful things. Check out the other channel, the other cars here on the channel. There's 93 other videos. This is our 94th video on the channel in just a little over a year. And so you see a lot of the stuff that we do here. I certainly know how to do that work, but I prefer to do things this way. I love making stuff. I'm not a fabricator, I'm not pretending to be one, but I can fabricate some parts and turn out some respectable cars. If you look back at there's a slideshow that I did on the 47 Ford, or you look at the beginning in the intro when you see the 69 Charger, my son's car, with him standing next to it at about 18, and then what that is later on when he's there polishing the rear wheels and a couple other shots with that car. That car was totaled, and we were going to do an episode on it when he was home here over Christmas, but we just didn't have enough time before he had to fly back home again. So we will get an episode and show you the whole history of that car, but if you are on the Dodge Chargers forum, there's a thread, huge thread, on that car, and I think the name of the title, or the title of it right now, Joe, if you see this, drop it down in the comments. I think it's something like Baby I'm Back or something like that, because he was picking up again doing the dialogue about the car and the build when he got back from college before he went off and started traveling around the world for his business. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff we do here. We do tackle projects that nobody else, that others would deem beyond repair. Which I was thinking about the Challenger in light of that, if you'll just bear with me here as I yak a little bit more. I'm pretty sure that somebody had this Challenger as a parts car, stripped everything they needed out of it, and then scrapped it. It's possible they were going to fix it because there is a piece of floor pan in the car. When I got it was from another car. Not sure, it may have been a piece they had that they cut out for the car, the other car they were working on. I don't know. I don't really know where this car came from, except it has South Carolina plates on it. But it's been in Michigan here for a long time now, I'm quite sure. So I'm looking for something that when Joe did his Charger, we picked up a 70 Charger that was actually in worse shape than the 69, and the 69 was pretty whipped because it was totaled, it was wrecked, as well as rust. But we picked up a rusted out 70 that had everything he needed in it for the most part, and we stripped that car out. He did. I say we like I have a mouse in my pocket. He stripped that car out, kept everything, which is why we have huge shelves of extra parts for the 69 Charger. But that car still didn't go to the scrap. A guy on the East Coast bought it, sent a semi to pick it up, and that car got loaded up. And if I could find a picture, I'll put it in here. I know we have some. I'm not sure where I would find it. Loaded that thing up on a car hauler, and it went off to the East Coast. And as bad as that car was, from what I understand, that car is actually being rebuilt and coming along quite nicely now. So hopefully somebody knows about that build. I don't know the guy's name. It is actually a friend of my neighbor's son who told him about the car, and he got it shipped home from here. So anyway, they're never beyond repair if you want to put in the time. And it's not even so much about the money. A lot of guys say, oh, you're gonna have so much time and money into that. Not really. You learn where to shave off some time, a couple $100 in sheet metal, and just being too stupid to know that it can't be done. So there you go. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. The dash turned out great. I'm thrilled with it. Lots more coming, and we're going to get back to fabricating soon, I'm sure. I just needed a break from it for a while, and the holidays have just been crazy, but I wanted to get this done. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I even posted on Instagram asking what people wanted to see. I had some messages and so forth, but nobody had anything that really clicked with me. And then last night, as I was falling asleep, I thought, get that dash out of there. See what you got. You don't even know. And let's get that dash reconditioned and on its way so it looks pretty, and we can get the dash pad and start assembling that and buying the parts that we need to finish putting that dash back together again. So when the floors are done and you're ready, put that dash in and it's done. So there you go, we got her done. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, and looking at the statistics here, I know most of the people that watch the show are actually not subscribed to the channel. So that's great. I'm glad all the subscribers watch, but there's a lot more who watch that aren't. If you would subscribe to the channel, that would be just outstanding. Click the bell so you receive notifications. That would sure help us out, and you would know what's coming next. We're on Instagram and Facebook, /mycarshop. I'm always posting funny memes over there, all kinds of stuff, some behind the scenes stuff, historical photos. I try to put out 2, 3, 4 things a day over there to just keep things moving for those of you that really follow what we do here. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Have a happy new year. May your 2021 be way better than your 2020. And one more thing, at our channel, you always know, never forget. Rock.